WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina. WNOS 1450 AM and W272EK 102.3 FM, licensed to New Bern, North Carolina.
Motivations with Glenn.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, WECU, at 1570 AM. This is the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. To our listeners, if you may recall, about 2 weeks ago, as I was entering the station, I was listening to a rebroadcast of Agriculture and You Was That Matter to Me. And the ladies were talking about something very interesting to me. They were discussing basil. In some other countries, they pronounce it basil. But here in America, we pronounce it basil. Is basil a herb or herb? Well, here in America, we pronounce it herb. But in Great Britain or the UK, as you will, they pronounce it with the H, herb. But we pronounce it herb. Basil is a herb. And here's my co-host, Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today, we are so glad that you tuned in with us. We wanted to bring, I know Dr. Glenn was very interested in this subject, and we have quite a few things here for you. He has quite a few print-offs for basil. I said, oh my goodness, Dr. Glenn went basil wild over here. He's going to make sure that we are well informed about basil. Well, not only will we talk about basil, but we'll talk about the health benefits of maybe the top 10 herbs.
Yeah.
And basil is high on the list. It's not number one on a lot of the lists, but it's high on the list. And I think it's one of the things that a lot of times we skip over using in cooking. There's not a lot of dishes that often call for basil, but some of the Italian dishes that, you know, I've seen, even spaghetti sauces, and they are usually used for type, you know, lasagna type things.
Yeah.
That you'll find basil in. But basil has a lot of health benefits. And so I was looking here at one of the things that Dr. Glenn said, and he talked about the way that it's pronounced, that we say herbs. And we say herbs, and we know herbs is spelled with an H, H-E-R-B.
Right.
But we say it E-R-B, herbs, and we put the H as silent. So I was thinking as I was looking here, Dr. Glenn, that, and it said, don't mistake E-R-B for H-E-R-B. Don't mistake herbs for herbs. And I looked and thought that they were talking about something different, but it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's just spelled. It's just the way that, you know, the way that we pronounce it. We pronounce it, we just silent, we make the H silent. I don't know. Some people say herbs.
Well, It originated in France, actually. We have an audio clip on that explains why some people say herb, and in Great Britain, they say herb. They use the H where we don't use the H. And the audio clip explains why. But all this stuff originated in France because France, they leave off the H on a lot of their words.
Oh yeah, and herbs is with the H herb is used for up to signify other things too. I know, I'm a child of the 70s.
I know what you're gonna say. I know.
I'm not even gonna say it today,
I'm
but
gonna say it. I'm gonna say it today.
okay, go ahead.
I know exactly what you said because when in the 70s you used to pronounce it reefer.
That's right.
Yeah, but leave them reefers alone.
That's right, and that's
And
what
then
they
it
would
grew.
call herbs.
Yeah, then it grew to ganja, marijuana, and they also call it herb.
That's right.
Yo, you got that herb?
Yeah, that's exactly what they would call it. So, this is a pronunciation, but I meant that may be a cultural type of slang
Yeah,
that was used to use that word.
to
But
signify that.
yeah,
Yeah.
to signify it. So we're not talking about any of those things today.
No.
We're talking about beneficiary herbs that are going to help you with your health, and
Yeah.
basil is one of them.
Rather than an illegal substance.
Rather than illegal substance. Sometimes I've seen what they call a bay leaf. That's a basil, right? Is a bay leaf and basil the same thing?
I do have a document on can you eat basil leaves? It might mention something on there, but I think it's a difference.
There's a difference in a bay leaf and
Because,
basil.
because if I'm not mistaken, I think the bay leaf might be a part of spice.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
gonna have to look it up
now
now too.
now that we're talking about it, bay leaf came to and basil and bay leaf is two different things. Because the bay leaf, I think I've seen them before, and they are often put in food to hold the whole leaf. Whereas basil can be shredded.
Yeah, basil can be shredded.
Yes.
It can be baked and laid over to grind and stuff like that.
Yes. So a bay leaf and basil are two different things. Yeah, I believe. Now, if we're wrong, somebody call in and tell us we're wrong.
But when you mention Italian food, let me just say this first of all. It's Italian. Well, some people say Italian, some people say Italian. They pronounce it Italian because they're not in Italy, they're in Italy.
Yes, well, that's how, culturally, again, it's a cultural thing as to how we pronounce it.
But the point I want to make is that almost all Italian dishes are made with basil in it.
A lot of them, but some of them, you go in the grocery store, Dr. Glenn, and they mix certain ones with the basil. They don't mix everything with the basil because I don't believe it tastes good with everything. I believe that it's certain things that they mix it with. I'm just saying from my little knowledge of the spaghetti sauce aisle, because that's where I encounter basil. I don't know that I use basil in anything else or eat it in anything else, but I know that certain spaghetti sauces have it in there, and those are the ones that I would differentiate for lasagna versus spaghetti.
Well, like you mentioned before, if anybody knows better, give us a call because I want to make mention of one other thing. And like I said, I believe all Italian dishes have basil, which I also believe all Italian dishes, they use olive oil. So if any of our Italian brothers and sisters out there want to comment on that, please give us a call at 252-756-2008. You'll be on live on the air to answer that question for us, please. Thank you.
Well, and you don't have to be Italian. I mean, anybody that knows.
But I figured Italian.
I don't want to limit it to Italian people because all of us cook spaghetti. We just are not Italian. That's just our variation of it.
But we cook it totally different than Italian. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen a few things and how they use that water. From the spaghetti, they'll put that in the sauce. We never pour the spaghetti water in the sauce. We just don't do it. We don't do it. And they do. They always pour a little bit of that water into whatever sauce they're making.
And I do know this for a fact. When Italian people cook pasta, they cook it fresh. They even make it fresh.
Oh, yeah.
There's no store-bought.
Oh yeah, and then that's all we do. We go right over there to that dry spaghetti aisle. And look, I'm just saying now, I'm not saying that we don't do it, but I'm just saying out of my mind, I don't know any black people that's making up their own pasta, fresh pasta. But I'm not saying that people don't do it. I'm
Yeah.
just saying I don't know anybody that does.
And I'm the same way. I don't know anybody that
And the
does
way
that
I
either.
was taught how to make spaghetti was with that dried pasta from the shelf.
And let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When you're talking about spaghetti and pasta, are you supposed to boil the water to boiling temperature before you put the pasta in it?
I always do. I mean, but I've seen my brother make his and he put it in the cold water and let it heat up
Yeah,
there.
that's the way I usually do it, but I found out it was incorrect. You're supposed to let the water boil, then put the pasta in.
And if you just stir it, it won't be stuck together. When
Yeah.
you put it in there, if you move it around a little bit for the first 5 minutes or so, it won't be stuck together.
And I know for a fact it won't be stuck together if you put oil in the boiling water.
Well, I don't like the oil, Dr. Glenn. I've seen people pouring too much oil, and I cannot. We're getting ready to go out on a break, and when I come back, I'm gonna tell you what I saw at a restaurant once, and I will not eat spaghetti at a restaurant or a buffet anymore because of what I saw with the spaghetti. So, hey, if you want to call in today, definitely you could call in and be live on the air with me and Dr. Glenn here. That phone number is 252-756-2008. And if you have something you want to add, and hey, we put a challenge out there, call in and tell us the difference between some of the things that we've spoken about. And if there's some things you want to add, call in and let us know. We'll put you live on the air today. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on our first break, and we want you to hang tight and come right back with us because we have some interesting things about these herbs that we want to let you know today. Hey, this is the Dr. Glenn Show on Awesome Radio. We'll be right back in a moment. Right back.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
There will be an AI training academy for church media, photography, and videographics. The AI academy is free and is designed for all ages, from a child to our ever-learning seniors. And for your convenience, the AI training academy will be hybrid, in person and virtual. You get to choose, or you can flip-flop. For more information and to sign up for this wonderful free AI Training Academy, ask for Stephanie. 252-367-5760. That's 252-367-5760.
Hi, I am Reverend Terry D. Streeter, pastor of the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church in Washington, D.C., and I'm wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. Thank you so much for listening to View from the Mount, the services from the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. Know that we in Washington are praying for each and every one of you. May God's richest blessings be yours as we reach the world with the gospel. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. As we move on, I just want to go back and mention one thing about her correct pronunciation. I had already spoke that historically context, the word came from the French, where the H was silent. Americans kept the original French influence pronunciation. American English herb, E-R-B, silent H is standard. Think of an herb. British English herb, pronounced with the H, is standard. Think of a herb. So there's a lot of H words that we use. We could say different words are in the H, but begin at H. But in France, the H is basically silent in some of their words. And Apostle looking for the document. Let me, hey, this document, if you could just go to the third highlighted part.
Yes, and it says American English herb, silent H is standard. Think as herb, British English herb, pronounced H is standard. Think herb. Why do Americans say herb instead of herb? We say it that way because we never had Cockneys know, really. All English speakers used to drop the H in the word herb, because it followed the same phonetic silent H rules as other words that entered the language from the French. Exactly as you said, Dr. Glenn.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. So let me play that first audio clip on the say herb correctly.
A lot of my English learners pronounce this word a little differently than I do as a native English speaker from the United States. So let's see how you pronounce it. If you say herb, you're sounding like an American. But if you say herb, you sound like a British English speaker. If you love pronunciation tips like this and the American accents, then subscribe.
Okay, so she basically said the same thing. Herb for Americans, herb for British speaking people. Apostle.
Yes, Dr. Glenn. So we want to talk about it. Now, I know that there are some breakdowns of, and it's on this particular one that says basil, a herb or herb. And it talks about it here, the different types of basil, because, I'm just saying, off to my knowledge, I only knew one kind that it says basil on it in the store, and that's it. And I'm sure that our viewers, listening audience would love to know that there's more than one kind of basil. I'm thinking, where are all these fancy basils coming from? I just know Basil is in one bottle. I didn't know there were variations of basil.
And which one did you find out today?
All of them.
What about the holy basil?
The holy basil. There's a thing called a holy basil, and it is different from the other basil. But let's look here. There's quite a few basils, and there's a Thai basil, there's a holy basil, there's a sweet basil. I don't know how to say that word. It starts with a G.
I don't know where you're looking.
I'm not finna say that.
Because I see another one that starts with an L.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just telling you, it's a purple basil, a holy basil, and it said it name suggests, and let's talk about the holy basil, that people use it for worship in Hinduism, and it says it's a medicine. Practitioners also consider it to be one of the most important medicinal herbs. It's more bitter than other basil varieties when eaten raw. And so that holy basil is one that they use as medicine. And I wanted to just sidestep here too, because of just some prior knowledge or some knowledge of some things that I have, in the back of my mind. And I just wanted to tell you, Dr. Glenn, that a lot of times people that are into spiritual things use basil. And I'm talking about just the regular basil, or I don't know if it's the holy basil, but the regular basil. They use it in those that are practitioners of witchcraft and divination. They will use basil and also put it in their wallet for good fortune or to attract money. Basil is supposed to attract money. Now, I'm not telling you those things so you can do them, but I'm telling you those things so you could be aware that, sometimes people, they may have those things hanging in their house, and they also use it in their spells. When they're trying to cast spells, they'll put basil and use that basil in those spells operating in darkness or operating in the spiritual wickedness. So I'm just making you aware of it in case you did not know. Sometimes you might see some things and not even understand that that's what it is, that green leaf that somebody left on your desk, or that green leaf that they're leaving around your doorstep. Maybe someone trying to use basil in their spell.
And let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Because I'm looking for the document as we speak. Is basil a holy food or food of God?
No, it's not a food of God or a holy food. Now, people, they lift up and they can idolize anything. It's one of the plants that God has left for us for healing properties. We talked about that before, that God, in the Bible, it said that every herb or everything that God has left for us, he's left for us in the earth that comes through herbs and plants and different things that can have healing properties for our body. But now it's people that take those things and they try to lift them up and turn it into idolatry or turn it into something else and start using it in the wrong way, in the way that God didn't intend for it to be used. And so that's where we get off into idolatry and get off into, as I said, darkness and spiritual wickedness. But Basil, we want to talk about using it in its proper way and using it as a health benefit for our body. And I'm going to specifically look, Dr. Glenn, for basil outside of spaghetti sauce, how to use it, because I'm just being honest with you. I'm stunned as to how it needs to be used, except in a pasta dish. In my stuffed shells, I put it in there, but that's it for me. I don't know that I know where it's going to taste good in other dishes.
But you know why I love basil? Why I love to put basil leaves, but basil. I don't actually put the leaf. I use the thing that's in the jar. You just shake it into your food.
Mm-hmm.
I love to put it in soup.
So you a basil soup eater?
I am.
I'm gonna have to see, because I don't know.
You give me some.
And then, Dr. Glenn, I don't know if I trust your taste buds like I need to.
Let me tell you something. You give me some beef stew, chicken noodle soup, or vegetable soup. I'm shaking some basil in there.
Well, I don't know, Dr. Glenn, if basil's supposed to go with every kind of thing. And I'm not trusting of your taste buds, because a couple of things you said about the turkey, I don't know if it was last year or this year, but it called into question.
If you ate some of my turkey, you would be delighted.
I probably would.
Anyway, this is a very good interesting. Now, just like 2 weeks ago when I listened to the Agriculture Youth Show prior to coming into the station, once again I was listening today, and it was mentioned a couple other things on there was quite interesting. But one of the things one of the ladies said, and I want everybody to heed to this, you are what you eat. So if you're eating a lot of good food, a lot of food from the Heavenly Father through our plants and vegetables, then you are what you eat. You're going to be healthier and you're going to live longer. So because your health will be in better shape than it's ever been. So you are what you eat, Apostle.
Yes, and Dr. Glenn, we're getting ready to go out on another break, but I absolutely agree, and I absolutely agree that this is the time and the season when we need to be looking at what we're eating. I'm just say this, Dr. Glenn, a lot of people, they're maintaining on medications when they really could just do some dietary changes and they would be off those medications. At the onset of something, or when you've been warned that some levels or something is moving and shifting and going up in your body, you need to make those changes before it becomes a part of your life or becomes too late where you can make those changes. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on a break. Come right back, because I'm going to finish that statement in a moment. This is Awesome Radio, the Glenn Johnson Show. Right back in a moment.
Hello, this is Jennifer Keys, and I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from my family to yours. Thank you for listening to Awesome Radio.
Before you decide to witness at work, make sure you know some key terms. You're going to find this helpful.
The Legal Alert. Here's attorney David Gibbs Jr.
Terrence was starting a new office job, and at every job he ever had, Terrence always made sure to offer a gospel tract at least just one time to every coworker, and he was planning to do the same at his new job. However, as he read the HR manual, he noted that the office strictly forbade all solicitation. That was the word in the manual. What was that? How was he doing that? Was he making solicitation? To be safe, he called our lawyers at the Christian Law Association. Our attorneys assured Terrence that what he was engaging in was distribution, not solicitation. It is not solicitation to hand out a gospel tract anywhere. To be clear, solicitation involves asking for or exchanging of money. It means you're trying to sell something in exchange for money. Unless the job banned all written invitations to any type of a party or any congregation thing, they couldn't ban Terrence tract handing out. In America, we strongly protect in the law the handing out of gospel tracts. It is not solicitation.
And that's today's Legal Alert.
What's up, y'all? This is Master P. Keisha and Tia got the hookup that
makes you say,
Hey kids, it's that time of the year. Tax time is here at 1108 Financial Resources is ready. Up to $9,000 maximum refund guarantee. 1108 Financial Services, 1001 B Hardy Road in Kits. Call 252-520-1864. Download our mobile app to get your taxes done even faster. 1108 has advanced loan approvals within 24 hours.
file your taxes with TMT today. They're the hardest working team in the ENC. And you know Keisha and Tia got the hookup that makes you say, so get your taxes done right now with TMT. Erbs.
1108 Financial Services, 1001 B Hardy Road in Kinston. Make them say,
We welcome our newest station to the network of Awesome Radio, WNOS New Bern, 1450 AM and 102.3 FM.
We're back. You're listening to The Glenn Johnson Show. You can reach Glenn at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. We have reached our final 30 minutes of today's broadcast, so we invite everyone listening who would like to make a contribution to the show by way of calling in with a quick comment or question about today's topic on Basil. We're welcome to do so by calling in on 252-756-2008. Apostle is going to pick up where she left off.
Yes, and I was saying before I went off on break, and I think you had something to say, is that if you start seeing levels and things going up in your body and making those changes, if you can avoid getting on the medication by changing your diet. Sometimes you can't do anything about it, that changing your diet still doesn't change certain things. Sometimes you need medication to regulate certain things in your body. So I'm not telling anybody to skip over the doctor's advice. But what I'm saying to you is that there are certain things that can be avoided by changing your diet, and that can bring your levels down to where you don't have to use such high doses of medication.
And the comment I want to make to that end is that, yes, that is absolutely correct, because being diabetic myself, I notice when I drink a lot of water or I eat certain things, my glucose level or my sugar level is lower than being higher. So when I change my diet up, my sugar level decreases. Also, my younger brother in New Jersey, like I said before, he was always getting these migraine headaches. But when he changed his diet and he stopped using the plug-in air fresheners in his house, his migraine headaches went away.
Definitely, there's some things that you could change. So he was probably getting the headaches from the allergies from those particular plugins. Let's look at some of the health benefits of basil. And Dr. Glenn, I'm reading this from the basil. Is basil a herb or herb? And the back pages have all of the benefits. And there's 5 main benefits of basil. And I'm literally surprised by looking at these as to what basil can help you do in your health. It said it protects against cell damage. So it talks about the body's response to stress and inflammation, that it is an antioxidant that acts as a shield against free radicals and the health problems that they cause. It says that also here that it prevents cancer. Wow. That basil helps you to prevent cancer, and it helps with cell damage. You know, anything that helps you prevent cancer is awesome. You need to look at that, and that's number 2. Number 3, and these are the ones I was like, wow. A lot of people may need to, especially in certain cultures that tend to have more of these particular issues. It says it helps to manage blood pressure and cholesterol.
And cholesterol.
Both of them. So basil is I'm going to get some basil and figure out how to use it and how to eat it. You know, it said here that you could eat it raw or you could eat it cooked.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dr. Glenn. When I see those things, I just don't feel like I just want to dump some out of my hand and just pop it in my mouth and eat it raw. I just don't know how to eat it like that.
Yeah, me either, but you can't do that, which is why I want you to take a look at, can you eat basil leaves? Do you see that one?
I don't see that one.
All right, let me hand it to you, because I highlighted the most important parts.
Okay, number 4. I'm gonna finish this real quick. Number 4 and number 5, and then I'm gonna look at these how to eat it. Let's see. Number 4 is improves the blood sugar level. So this helps with your blood sugar. I mean, that's all the issues that most people a lot of times have is blood pressure, cholesterol,
Yeah.
and blood sugar levels. And then number 5, that it boosts mental health. That this particular herb is going to help you. Oh my goodness. We need to be out on the street with a basil stand, selling some basil because this is helping your mental health.
We need to be sprinkling in the air.
I know, spraying it out, in an aerosol can. What is that? That's basil. Hey, we like to have some fun here, but let me tell you, because there's a lot of people that may need to use this to regulate some things in their body. It says that it also helps with depression, a potential to decrease depression and stress and age-related memory loss.
That's right.
Some things also improve symptoms associated with Alzheimer's. There's a lot here. I'm definitely going to, and I don't tell you that I'm going to do something and I never do it. When I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And basil is coming up on my list. It's going to come outside of spaghetti sauce. I'm going to figure out how to get some good basil into some recipes. I'm going to Google exclusively basil recipes. So it says how to eat basil raw. It said add whole leaves or ribbons to your salads. Look, I never thought about that. It's green anyways, right?
It's green, that's right.
Right. So I'm gonna see what it tastes like. Hey, we've got a caller calling in about this basil.
Caller, you're live on the air on the Glenn Johnson Show. You have a comment or question?
Yes, I want to comment on the basil.
Yes, sir.
You can also, I heard the missus say she didn't know how to eat it, but you can also put it in a salad, a tossed salad. You can sprinkle it on your salad, or you can sprinkle it on, if you like mac and cheese or something like that, you can sprinkle it on there. Rice, if you like rice, and just different kind of foods you can sprinkle it on. But most of all, you can sprinkle it on your salad.
And you know what?
On your salad.
I'm so glad you called in with that comment because I never thought about sprinkling basil on my salad because usually I'm at a, outside restaurant eating salad, pizza and stuff like that. So I really never thought about it. And they have the basil dispensers right there in front of you.
Yeah, that's the healthiest way to eat it. It's on a salad.
I got to remember that.
Yes, and thank you so much for telling us. I had just saw it on the paper, and I just read it off the ways to eat it, and it said leaves or ribbons on the salad. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get some of that on the salad. I love salad. I have salad in the refrigerator now, but I don't have any basil. I'm stopping by the store today, and I'm fixing to work with some basil and see how I can make it taste good.
Just sprinkle it right on there, just like any other things that you add to your salad. Just sprinkle it on there and just put your dressing on there, whatever kind of dressing you use or whatever, and just eat it. You won't even taste it.
Thank you, caller, for calling in with that comment. We certainly appreciate it.
Okay, y'all have a blessed evening.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Apostle.
Yes, and we thank the caller for telling us that I was just getting to it, Dr. Glenn.
Yeah, I know.
And look, the light bulb came on when he said salad. I said, oh, it's green anyway, so we might as well put it on the salad.
You might as well.
Everything green goes on a salad, right?
You might as well do
Well,
it.
I'm definitely going to add some basil to my salad. I have some in the refrigerator. It said here to put on sandwiches and pizza after cooking or chew them for a fresh burst of flavor.
Yeah. We got 1 minute before we go to the next break. Then we'll be back with our final 20 minutes. But, Apostle, let's get the documents out that show the healthy benefits of basil and what other documents we have, because we do have a lot of documents. And actually, this is not even half of the documents. And some of the documents, since we're talking about a product that's good for you, I saw document pages 78, 79, 80, 135, so on and so forth. So, of course, those are really extensive documents. I didn't bring with us today, but we have enough in front of us today. Apostle.
Yes, it also said to steep this and make it into a tea.
Yeah,
You can make a tea, a basil tea.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dr. Glenn. I'm see about that, but I am gonna try the salad. I'm gonna try the salad. I don't know that taste. It just I don't know. I'm not ready for everything.
But
I am gonna try it with a salad though.
But just putting it in and making a tea out of it might even be more beneficial. And just stay away from the sugar.
Oh yes. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on one more break. And when we come back out, well, we think we have one more after this. We will come back and we are going to look at the particular documents that Dr. Glenn has asked us to look at for more information on the nutrient value, because we didn't give it all. We just said some things that it helped with. Hey, come right back here and we'll be right back after this break. Awesome Radio, right back in a moment.
Keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show.
This is Bible Principles with Dr. Gene Getz.
When Paul wrote to Titus, who stayed on the Isle of Crete to establish new churches, he was to proclaim things consistent with sound teaching. He was to be sure these new believers had a knowledge of the truth that leads to godliness. And consequently, Paul outlined very specifically what these new believers were to know. To review, older men were to be self-controlled, worthy of respect, sensible, sound in faith, love, and endurance. Older women were to be reverent in behavior, not slanderous, not slaves to excessive drinking. Rather, they were to teach what is good. Young women were to love their husbands, their children, and be self-controlled, pure, workers at home, kind, submissive to their husbands. And then Paul told Titus how to address young men. You see, he too was a young man. And consequently, Paul wrote,
In the same way, encourage the young men to be self-controlled in everything. Make yourself an example of good works with integrity and dignity in your teaching. Your message is to be sound, beyond reproach, so that any opponent will be ashamed, because he doesn't have anything bad to say about us.
Well, here Paul is making it clear that the greatest way to teach godliness is to model godliness. This, of course, applies in a special way to those who are at the same age as we are. But it's also an enduring truth that applies when we're teaching all ages.
The Bible principle you've heard today comes from the Life Essential Study Bible by Dr. Gene Getz. To hear today's principle again, go to BiblePrinciples.org. That's BiblePrinciples.org.
You're listening to our newest edition of the Awesome Radio Network, WNOS, 1450 AM and 102.3 FM, New Bern, North Carolina.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, Winterville, Greenville, North Carolina. Now, I'm going to play 2 audio clips before we get to the remaining of our documents. One is going to be super easy way to dry herbs. The other one is going to be how and when to prune and pinch your basil leaves in your garden.
My husband was complaining about the noisiness of my food dehydrator when I would dry herbs. It does run kind of loudly, and it takes anywhere from 10 to 15 hours. So a subscriber sent me in a tip that worked out perfectly. Let me show you. So the first thing I'll do is clip and rinse my herbs as usual. Put them on a paper towel or a flour sack towel and pat them dry. Next, we're going to pop it in the oven, in a preheated oven on 350 degrees, and then turn the oven off.
You see that, Apostle?
I let it sit in the oven for about 2 hours. and it's nice and crunchy. All I have to do is strip the leaves off of the stems and put it in a jar.
Erbs. We Americans say herbs.
Hi, I'm Nikki Jabor, and today I want to show you when and how to pinch back basil plants to ensure healthy plants and large harvests. Many gardeners are shy about pinching back their herbs because they want the plants to grow as large as possible. But regular trimming is the best way to increase yields and ensure maximum production. When it comes to basil, prune early and prune often is the rule, and this applies to all types of basil. Not only is it quick and easy to do, you also get to enjoy the delicious trimmings. There are 3 reasons to trim your basil plants. 1, to stimulate new growth. 2, to harvest the aromatic leaves. And 3, to remove the spent flowers. Let's look a little closer at these 3 reasons. The first reason to clip basil plants is to stimulate new growth. I start pruning my plants early in the season when the seedlings are around 6 to 8 inches tall and have 3 to 4 sets of leaves. The first trimming is to pinch back to a strong set of side shoots, removing about 1/3 of the plant. That action forces that set of leaves to grow, doubling the amount of basil produced on that stem. And every couple of weeks, I'll continue to come in and trim back my plants to promote lots of new leaves and stems. The second reason to trim basil plants is to harvest the leaves. Whether you're growing Lehigh Prospera, a Genovese type of basil with large glossy leaves, a Greek basil like spicy bush, or an Asian basil like sweet Thai, it's important to know the right amount to take and the right way to harvest so that you don't damage or set back the plants. As for the right amount, it's best to remove no more than 1/3 of the plant. I use garden snips to snip the stems back to a healthy set of side shoots, gathering them in a bowl or other container. Is there a wrong way to trim back basil plants? Actually, yes. Don't just pluck the leaves if you want to harvest basil for cooking or making pesto. If the stems aren't trimmed back, you won't stimulate new growth and the plants won't be as productive. The final reason to trim back your basil plants is to remove flower buds or blossoms. By midsummer, many types of basil plants bolt or start to flower. While the small pretty blooms are bee-friendly, I generally pinch flower buds off my plants to slow bolting and to encourage them to keep producing lots of flavorful leaves. Plus, flowering can impact and change the flavor of those leaves. You can pinch the flowers using your fingers, or you can use garden snips to remove them quickly and cleanly. I aim to pinch out the developing flower buds as soon as I spot them, and before they have a chance to fully bloom.
Okay, that was our second audio clip. That was on how and when to prune and pinch your basil. But ladies and gentlemen, should you desire to receive a copy of the documents, including the audio that we have, please email me at Glenn, Glenn Johnson Show at gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to forward it to you. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, I was over here flipping because I saw something that just really caught my attention. And one of the things that it said here was to blend into pesto with garlic and olive oil. You know, Dr. Glenn, I love pesto. I know a lot of people may not even know what it is, but I do like pesto.
And I'm one of them.
And pesto can be made with the majority of it, the herb in it is basil. I didn't know that. I just saw that, and I do. And again, but it's a pasta dish. So I do love pesto, and it's made with basil. So I do know how to eat it that way.
Let me point out a couple of things to you.
Yes.
What she mentioned in that audio, Genovese basil. And I just happened to see what the Genovese...
That's what it's called, Genovese. That's the word I couldn't pronounce.
And the Genovese basil is a popular variety of sweet basil with large, sweet leaves, ideal for pesto.
Oh, wow.
That you just mentioned.
That I just mentioned. Yeah, eat some pesto. Try pesto if you haven't. It is very good. It's green, but it's very good. And I used to make a very good pesto dish. I haven't made it in forever. I'm going back to eating the pesto dish.
Well, you really gonna be going back after I mention this. So there's also cinnamon basil, lemon basil, purple basil, and African blue basil.
Wow.
The African blue basil features fuzzy leaves with purple tinge stems and spikes of purple flowers. It is known for being very aromatic.
Well, and then you wonder if with a name like African basil, if does it come from Africa? Is
Yeah, it does.
growing? And we talked about that before, that a lot of times different herbs are grown in different areas, but that's the same basil. That's basil, the same. In essence, it has the same benefits. It says here that some of the health benefits here, and I didn't write down or read everything that was here, but one of them is said it is rich in vitamins, a good source of vitamin K for blood clotting in bones. It
Yeah.
has vitamin A and C. I didn't say that. I didn't mention that when we spoke about it at first. And it says too that the dried basil has a stronger flavor than the fresh basil.
Fresh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of my concerns about putting it on a salad.
Yeah.
That it would be fresh, it won't be so strong.
I'll point out one other thing about the Genovese basil. Octum ballisticum Genovese or Italian basil is perhaps the most widely used and widely grown basil for culinary purposes.
Also, it's nutrient rich. It's a great source, and I said this, of vitamins K, A, and C, manganese, I'm saying it wrong, calcium, iron, magnesium, it says vital for blood, bone and blood clotting, vision, and energy.
Can I point something out, Basil?
Yes, go ahead.
Some of the words that's mentioned is almost like reading a medical dictionary.
Oh, yes.
Medical words. You know, you have to people can't pronounce medical words.
Well, it said also eat it on bruschetta. I like bruschetta, Dr. Glenn. I don't know if you've ever had that. Toast with yeah.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, bruschetta, the toast with, I like bruschetta. So I think I've had it more than I've known. But I am definitely still going to add it into the salads, because I think that's one of the main sources that I'd be able to get it, because I don't always eat it in pasta, or I don't always eat pasta. You know, pasta, we try to avoid that too, because that's one of the whites. So,
You know what I should have included with this, but we probably would have had enough time. Along with the basil, how about the oregano?
yes, oregano is another one. And Dr. Glenn, I think as we have one more break coming up,
yes,
we can look at the top 5, I think it was, or top 7, and oregano was in there.
It was.
The top 7 herbs that will have health benefits. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's do that, because we'll be back with our final 10 minutes after this break.
Yes, and we can name them quickly. We don't have to go through what each one does, but you can also look them up. But we do have that, exactly what it does, what each one does. And if you want any of these documents, as Dr. Glenn said, you can email him and he'll send you these documents and you'll be able to look at them, because we didn't even finish some of the documents on basil, because it's so much information on basil that is out there.
And my email address, once again, is Glenn, Glenn, Johnson Show at gmail.com. Apostle will take us out to the break.
Hey, come right back. We're leaving you with a cliffhanger. And look, basil is first on one of these lists as one of the most important herbs that you can eat to help you with your health. Come right back with us. We'll be right back with a list so you can get some good information. Right back in a moment.
Footprint Small Event and Conference Center. It's located in the heart of downtown Greenville at 304 Evans Street. Welcome to Footprints, a clean, family-friendly event space designed for unforgettable moments. Whether you're planning a private celebration or a professional gathering, Footprints offers the perfect setting for your vision. It's ideal for conferences and workshops, baby and bridal showers, birthday parties and special celebrations, community classes and meetings. You can create your own event or have it beautifully designed by our experienced event planner. Because here, you don't just host an event, you make memories that leave footprints in your heart. 304 Evans Street, Greenville, North Carolina. Plan your event today. 252-412-3169. 252-412-3169.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, Winterville, Greenville, North Carolina. This is our final 10 minutes of today's broadcast. So I'm going to give it right back over to Apostle because I did want to say something about the oregano.
Yes, we have, and this is 10 fresh herbs that have surprising health benefits. And I'm going to read them off to you very quickly. And they have basil is number one on the list. And then they have dill. That dill is a herb that has health benefits. And we already know about garlic. That's number three. Number four is ginger. Ginger is one that we hear a lot about, that people are making drinks.
Yeah.
And they're boiling pineapple with it and making these particular health drinks. 5 is lavender. 6 is lemon balm. Number 7 is oregano, Dr. Glenn. Number 8 is rosemary. 9 is sage, and we love some sage, especially at this time of year. 10 is thyme. Let's see, Dr. Glenn, that's it there. That is 10 of them right there that are great health benefits. Dr. Glenn, you wanted to talk about the oregano?
Yeah, because I eat a lot of food, as you know. I eat a lot of soul food. I just eat a lot of food in general, but a lot of soul food and a lot of Italian food. And when I eat Italian food, I'm always using basil and oregano. But as I'm thinking about it, I think some of the oregano and the basil would be good on some of the other dishes that I eat.
Yes, and there are people that are making oils with the oregano. They're making oregano oil, and they're taking it by the spoonful because I believe that oregano is supposed to help with inflammation in the body, that it's supposed to bring down inflammation in the body. It said here that it's a proven agent against the norovirus, a highly contagious stomach bug. Now, look, right now, in this city as well as some other states, I know positively that there is a stomach virus that's going around and people are sick and many children are sick. And I ran into it myself, not personally, but I saw others that were sick from those viruses. And oregano is one of the things that can help fight it. Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of good meat, produce, vegetables, fruit that's healthy for the body, but you have to be careful and be selective on making your decisions.
Definitely, especially if you're already on medication and those particular things can lower, where the medication is already keeping something low in your body, and now you're adding that particular herb that may lower your blood pressure and you're already on medication to lower it. There are some cautions that you have to use with certain medications and certain things that you may have to avoid eating if you're already on the medicine. You might consult your doctor about lowering your dosage and then using the herb, in addition with that until you can get it down low to where you need it.
And I'm so thankful that you just mentioned that, Apostle. You definitely want to consult with your physician before you're doing anything. So I just want to mention today's broadcast on the basil and its benefits. You have to use your own discretion. This is for educational research purposes only. So always consult your physician. And as Apostle mentioned, you don't want to take or utilize something that's going to lower something when you're already taking medication to get that lowered, or to increase something when you're already taking medication to increase something. So you definitely want to consult with a physician.
Definitely. Hey, we hope that you have gotten some very good information here. We had these 10 things, and I know right now we mentioned sage as one of them, and this is the season for sage because many people are making dressing for Christmas and New Year's, and some that didn't make it for Thanksgiving, they'll pick it up for Christmas and for New Year's. And sage is one of those very beneficial herbs as well that we see used a lot in our culture. So there's no particular one here that is better than the other one, but we definitely, in some areas, when you look at certain things, you'll see that they're equal. Turmeric is another one that we did not mention. Cilantro, smoked paprika. These are all things that we're seeing a lot of. If you are on social media, you'll see a lot of videos that are promoting these particular things. Cinnamon, ginger.
Yeah.
Those are all of those are very good herbs and spices that will help you with your health and benefit your body.
Now, when you mentioned the cilantro, because I do watch a lot of programs that feature food, and they always mention the cilantro. What exactly is the cilantro?
Well, it's some kind of herb or something. It's green. I do know that much. I've had it in some dishes that mention cilantro, but to tell you today that I've ever picked up a cilantro and cooked with it, I have not. But there are places that I've eaten at restaurants and it has the cilantro in it. And so I don't cook with it though. I don't know how to cook with it. But I've definitely had it before.
Yeah, the only thing I also want to mention, because when you mention a restaurant, I just really want people to eat when they're eating out. Just like I went to a restaurant one time, and they had a special on the menu that day. It was roasted lamb. So I wanted a roasted lamb. So they bought the roasted lamb with string beans, but I didn't realize it was string bean halidine, and I'm allergic to nuts. As soon as I saw those white nuts sitting out there, sprawled out on the place, I had to return the entire plate. They had to refresh the plate and start from scratch.
Also, I want to tell you to look at parsley. Don't skimp on parsley. We see that as a decorative thing on the plates most of the time, but parsley is power packed as well as basil. Look up parsley and start getting some parsley in your diet.
All right, here's the last joke. I was at the event and they had an immaculate layout of food and stuff. I was throwing down, and the lady said, "Why did you eat all that stuff?" I said, "I thought it was meant to be eaten." She said, "Sir, that was decoration."
And some of those things are on buffets as decorations. The stuff that's in between. Dr. Glenn must have a little rabbit in him that he was eating as decoration. Definitely don't do that. Hey, we hope you enjoyed the show on today. And we know, I just want to tell you that when you come over here, you're going to get a few laughs sometime. Sometimes we're going to laugh, and life needs to have laughter, and you need to laugh sometime. So I want to say it's okay. It's not all serious over here. And sometimes laughter can bring healing. You need to be able to laugh, and I hope you laugh with us on today.
You got the next best thing other than laughter, other than God's coolness, gratefulness, and being thankful is laughter.
Definitely, Dr. Glenn. I saw someone today and they were so tickled at something that happened. And I just watched them and I just said to myself, go, 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 because you need that laughter. In times when you can laugh, you need to laugh, because there'll be definitely times where you'll be doing the opposite and you may be in sorrow. So when you can laugh, laugh as long as you can.
There's nothing wrong with laughter. Laughter makes the heart grow fonder.
And this is the time in the season where we need to have joy. So I pray that all of you have joy. I pray that even in this coming up week that you enjoy Christmas, the birth of our Savior. We want to remind you to keep the main reason that Jesus is the reason for the season.
Jesus, I was just about to say that. So I'm glad you said it. Jesus is the reason for the season. Happy birthday, Jesus, in a couple of weeks. Next week, as a matter of fact, happy birthday, Jesus. We love you.
Yes, enjoy your families, enjoy the food, and it is our prayer that you all be safe and that you return right back here next week. We are going to be on the air the day before Christmas. We will be here, and we want you to put your ears on. We'll be right here in the studio. Dr. Glenn?
So until then, that's the day before Christmas, so we'll have more time and more opportunity to wish everybody a joyous and fun-filled and Merry Christmas, but in all, give your grace and honor and glory to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It is his birthday.
Hey, we'll see you next week. We're looking forward to you being right back here. And until that time, we ask that you be safe, and we're asking God to cover you, that you'll be covered and you're going out and you're coming in, and that you be blessed. And we're looking forward to hearing good news on next week. Right back here next week on Awesome Radio. See you next week. God bless and God keep you.